we are all going to learn what is all about product life cycle and new product development strategy. So let's begin with the meaning of product life cycle. So the product life cycle is a process of the succession of all those stages that a particular product would pass on as a form of development till end of the product. So it is a successful cycle where the product goes through during its existence and begin with development to the end of the stage. Most of the marketers and the business owners are always being engaged to use the product life cycle to make up an important decisions or the soundful decisions for the benefits of the organization, considering the following factors like advertising budgets, product prices, and packaging, branding, etc. It is also been defined in a normal sense that the stages where a particular product moves through the marketplaces, as the product would get enters into the market, it becomes established and exist the marketplace. So it is a cycle where totally portray or reveals the cycle of the particular product, whether it would be a new product or it would be the existing product. In other words, we could define the product life cycle is likely to get an experience of a particular product, that how he move on from different stages and what was the result and the outcome of that product in different into a different stages of a cycle. So the main purpose of the product life cycle for a particular marketers and the company is to analyze, to develop the strategies for the particular or the various existing products as they enter into a market or exist at any stage. In the particular marketing strategies, or you can say in which enters or the marketers would adopt a strategy, the typical aim of the product life cycle is only to finalize the most relevant strategy to adopt for a particular product after processing all the stages of the product life cycle, that would be from development to the decline stage. But in the product life cycle, the main four stages are introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. So this is all about the overview of the product life cycle. So let's begin with the importance, the significance of the product life cycle. The product life cycle is very important tool because it always inform an organization management and of course all the policy makers or the decision makers, that how the product is actually performing and what would be the strategic decision is to be taken off to make us successful a particular product. It also helps to the various companies that how to allocate the resources, whether it would be the staff, it would be the, you can say the budgets, or it would be any kind of materials that would be used to make up a product more successful, and to identify that which products should be give a more and more importance, and where the company could get into a next step to innovate such particular product where the need arises. There are other benefits of the product life cycle which always be, you can see, used in a real experience or the real scenario. The first one is that it always makes a better decisions while using up a particular product into various investments or decisions as well. It is very easier to use such concept for a long period, or you can say for a long-term plans, when a particular researcher or the organization management would take a decision to take up an investment into a particular product. So before taking up any decision related to a huge investment into a product, it is very important to understand the life cycle of that particular product before investing anything, a huge sum of amount into that particular product. It always, the third point is it always allow for a better decision making, for an accurate information on the performances. It is very important to get a deep insight into such concept, that it always allow for the researchers, for the organizational decision makers to have a better decision making, and it could be taken off if they have an accurate information on the performances. To identify the performances on the product life cycle is one of the most important tool to get into a deep insight about a particular product and how it performs into a marketplace. The next one is, and the last one, it is very easier to streamline the current processes within the company. It also the one of the most important benefit of the product life cycle, that it is very easy to identify, to get into a streamline the what would be the current processes going on related to a particular product which always exist into a company or within a company, and how they moves from development to the end of the state that it exists from the market, and how it's performing. It could be done through understanding, a brief understanding of the product life cycle. So this is an importance or the benefits along with that of this particular concept. Now we come up to the most important part of this topic, that is, what are the stages of the product life cycle. So these are the basically the 6 stages of the product life cycle. The first one is development stage. The second one is introduction stage. The third one is growth stage. The fourth one is maturity. Fifth, saturation, and the sixth one is decline stage. So let's study in detail what is all about these stages portray into such particular broad concept. This is a particular diagram of the product life cycle where you can say the x-axis, the stages are going on and how the life cycle of a particular product would goes on. So this is how it would be. You can see the shape of the product, the shape of the curve of the particular product, which is an existing product or a particular new product. So this is the 6 stages which has been shown in the x-axis, that is development, introduction, and so on. So let's begin with a brief introduction about all these stages and what would be the relevant example that exists into these particular stages. The first one is development stage. The development stage of a particular product life cycle is always be a research and development. We can talk about, we can call about a research and development process. So before a company introduce any product to the marketplace or to a market, it is a very important to research a particular market where a particular product is to be launched for. So it is also essential for all those companies, whether it including the investors or any other type of internal agencies or external, who are always developed, or you can see similar type of products. You can test a particular product effectiveness into a market, and then you can make up a strategies to launch your product. So this is comes on, and that is exactly called the development stage, where the research is to be done before launching a product into a market. So accordingly, the investors and the companies together come forward to develop all those strategies that how the product is to be launched into a market. So in this particular stage, we can talk that the companies who are spending a huge investments, it is always important to research on the product, and it could be the investment can be taken off while the research is actually being on a right track. So it is very important for the companies who are spending a lot of money without having so much revenue, because the product is not being sold yet. So if the product is not being sold yet, the company will not bring the revenue, and ultimately they have to put into a research process on that particular product and why it's not being working into a market. So this particular phase is always being done for a long period of time, because research process or research and development process, it always takes a long period. So depending upon the what type of product would be, depend upon the complexity of the product, how the product it could be a new for the customers, what would be the competition analysis for the market, and for the companies who are already entered into a market. So for every case, for a particular completely new product, so development stage is very important, but somehow, or it could be a very difficult process, because we can talk about it for every company. It is a first process where a particular time would come where a product is going to be launched. So it is very important the research could be done before you develop or launch a product, but sometimes product is not always be a successful at a later stages. So before a company would come up on a full scale operations or the production, the product may be released in a limited market to test the particular product and whether the customer would actually like that product or not. So that it allows the companies to assess the market acceptance, that the customer would able to accept that product for a long period of time, or rather the companies would take up feedback for the customers, and accordingly they can make up unnecessary changes whenever they will require, but before a wider outreach of a particular market. And that is all about in the development stage. We can come forward more about this stage, because hey, in this stage a research is very important before you come up a particular product into a marketplace. So the next one is introduction stage. So once the research has been done, once the company has decided to launch a product or launch a new product into the marketplace, now the second stage, which always comes from next to development stage. The introduction stage refers that the product is when the product is going to launch in the marketplace. It always depends upon what marketing strategies is to be made up, how the marketing teams actually build up a product awareness among the customers, among the potential customers, how they will target the potential customers as well. So when a particular company wants their product to introduce into a market, and sometimes while introduced a product into the market, at the initial stages the sales would be low, demand would be very less. So in this particular phase, it is an initial stage where the sales and the demand are almost low, and the marketers should always focus while they get to know that their sales and demands are low. So the marketer will take a step or will take an action to focus on the advertising marketing campaign, so that the customer could aware, get the product information, test the particular, you can say, the product, and accordingly they will work on it. And of course the marketers and the companies or the researchers should also work upon about the testing of the distribution channels, that how they build up a product awareness and the brand awareness among the customer or among the potential customers into that particular marketplace. So this stage is also very crucial because the companies will always get an opportunity to focus on the status of or the standards that they maintain for the particular product, how they will capture the attention and the loyalty of those customers, of those early customers who are already, you can say, bought that particular product, a new product. So some of the examples of this stage where we have plenty of the companies who have introduced their new product and who are actually that products are currently into a marketplace, which exist into a marketplace. These are on your screen. That is the generating artificial intelligence tools. If you look up the artificial intelligence tools, is always available online. You can use or you can buy the various softwares of the artificial intelligence tools and use it accordingly. So this is how this is a the such product is always aware and how they have adopt the marketing campaigns, the testing distribution channels, that everyone is aware about this product. Next one is self-driving cars as well, where a new product has been also been launched by the various automobile companies. A 3D televisions has also been launched by LG, Samsung. You can say where the particular you can customers who get an experiences of the cinema halls as well. So this is how these product has been introduced in the market and how the companies have built up their or they tested their distribution channels and aware such products among the potential customers, and of course they have aware their brand as well, and that is called an introduction stage. The next stage is growth stage. During the growth stage, the customers have product has been researched. Then in the second stage, it has been launched. Now in the third stage, in the growth stage, now the consumers have accepted the product. They are keep using that product. They are believing that product. It's the product. It's something useful for its own purposes, where the demand and the profits are almost on a growing stage, and of course they are placing they have placed an appealing, you can say, distance from the particular they have placed an impression on the minds of the customers as well. This particular stage is also crucial, that how they sustained the business operations and how the funds is to be arranged, or if any further product development is to be arised or is to be occurred. So it always, you can say, important for during this stage to generate the returns, how they will generate the returns on the investments that they have made up for launching, for developing, for innovating a new product. So it is very important in the growth stage that whether it is always good that the demand and profits are almost growing, but of course it is also important there is a stage where the growth could be crucial, that how they will sustain all those activities related to funding, related to business operation, related to that how they will generate the revenues on the investments as well. So if we talk about on the company scale, it is very important to understand that if the company is earning the lower per unit production cost, so it is very important to improve the suppliers or suppliers relationship. It is also equally important to optimize the distribution networks as well. And in the growth stage, there are also the existing products who are who step where the sales would goes on more, how to sustain into competitive market. So the company in this, to understand this, the company begins to become a more and more efficient and effective, and in fact they will learn from their mistakes in the introduction or the growth stages from them, from the you can say from the management teams, for the you can say marketing teams, and how what mistakes they have made, and accordingly uh, you can say they can work on it. So in this stage, the exactly the sales is actually going off from a growth stage where the company will take up a step to reduce their prices to sustain to a competitive market, and that is the main reason the sales and the profits are getting low. Then the company would make up a strategies to reduce the prices, so that the sales would goes up. So even in this particular stage, the marketing campaigns are also being focused on differentiated products rather than awareness, because the product is already aware. So the company is main focus that how to make up a differentiate products, so that to remain into a competitive market, or to get to sustain to remain sustained into a market as well. So during this particular stage, the product is actually begin to enter the most profitable stage. Why? Because the companies already take up a step to reduce the prices, as considering the prices of the rival firms or the companies. So in this stage, the companies always put into an action to become or to enter into a most profitable a stage, that is called the majority stage, and the post, and especially when the price would get reduced, so accordingly they will also, the cost of production would also get declined if the sales are actually increasing. So if the sales are increasing, cost of production would also get declined, and of course it is this stage will become the most profitable stage as well. And of course, the few examples of this stage has been mentioned on the screen. That is the smartphones, you can talk about the Amazon books, you can talk about the Amazon accessories, you can talk about the video games consoles, we can talk about there are plenty of the video games available online on the Amazon or any other online platform where the sales could increase if the prices would get low, and this stage will become the most profitable stage in respective examples as well. And you can keep in a real scenario that these particular three products and the sales or the revenues are actually in crores, not only in India, but it is in billions and all over the world. The next stage is saturation stage. This is a stage where the competitors would take a more and more portion of the market, and the product will get an experience whether it will be growth or decline in sales in real. So such stage is called the saturation stage. It is a stage where the competitors will enter or take a more and more portion of the market, and they have to, and the some, and in this stage also the products will always experience either they will go growth stage or directly go to the decline stage, that is decline in sales. So this is the point where the consumers are actually using a product. There are so many competitive companies as well. So if the any consumers, or if a company wants to increase their sales, so definitely they have to give their brand a more and more focus about the brand preferences, so that they will not enter into a decline stage. So automatically, if to avoid such state, it is very important for the companies to focus on providing the exceptional services to the customer, how they build up a cordial, a strong relationship with the customers as well, and this is how they can avoid the decline stage as well. And some of the example of this stage is streaming services, breakfast, carols, soft drinks. If you take up an example of Vote, that is a OTT platform portals where different programs would come, that is of the colors TV, and ultimately it's almost in a saturation state. There's sales, no one is watching it all because there is nothing new in that particular Vote app. That is, the colors shows is always come on that app, and the app is actually in a declined state, is not exist anymore. So that is the one of the example of the saturation and the declined stage. So the after the saturation, the next stage is the decline stage, where everything is declined. It is a stage where the product is no more exist into a market. So unfortunately, if the product does not become a preferred brand in the market, so of course they will experience a decline in sales because of the you can see a stiff competition, because of the higher competitive environment, which is very difficult for those companies for such products where the sales are actually nil, and it is hard to overcome from it. So decline stage is also occurs where when the products are actually outdated, where the technologies are actually obsolete, and the consumers may turn into a more and more advanced technologies, or the options are available, and ultimately such products would actually, it's very less desirable for the customers and of course in the market too. So if a company are experiencing this stage, so actually the company has to discontinue the product or sell the company or innovate the product and just relaunch into a market. So here are the some examples where you can see on screen, that is the CDs and the cassette tapes. If you look at the traditional version where no online platforms are available, the CDs and the cassette tapes, for example, T series. The beginning of the T series begin with the CDs and the cassette tapes, where the music industries has been originated. It's become more and more successful that time in the traditional times, and accordingly, at when we look up now and or compared at the present time, where the online streamline you can say portals or OTT platforms are already come up, where there's no need to have a series and cassette because the consumers have changed their preferred brands accordingly to the time period, and as a result it was actually such examples are not exist and totally closed, we can talk discontinued products are that is are available, and in that stage where the product has been discontinued, and that stage is actually called the decline stage, and the landline telephones, DVDs almost comes no existence into a market. So this is one of the diagram where the three main stages. If we talk about there are six stages, but the four main stages in the six stages are always shown over here, where the introduction is take off, then the growth will shake out, then the maturity is the peak, and the decline is almost the saturation point. And these are the factors that in each stage, what would be the outcome of the stages. So when we take off, that it will low sales, low profits, you can say high production cost, minimum competitors, financial stress would be the less one. But when we talk about the growth stage, sales would increase, revenue would increase, customer awareness or the brand awareness would get also increased, greater competition would be occur during the growth. Then we come up to the maturity stage, the maximum sales would be there. If the maximum sales, it would be the higher profits, low production costs. Cost competition is stable because the competitors are no more actually, because the maximum customer base are exist into a maturity stage. Then we talk about decline, that is a saturation stage where the decline in sales, customers have changed their preferences, profits are actually low, declining competition because the for that particular product where the customers have changed their preferred brand. So that is called the product life cycle. Now, these are the limitations where the fluctuation in sales data is always exists. So if you look up the graph over here, there is a fluctuations where there are sales fluctuation or the sales data fluctuate will always seen at the each stage. So it's totally the product life cycle is also completely dependent on the sale data, which is also the one of the limitation of such concept. Next one is delay in sales data. Sometimes it is very another limitation is also of such concept. There's always a delay in collecting and analyzing the sales data. It's not easy. It is a very difficult process to get a sales data in every stage. It's not be possible. Next disadvantage is varying market conditions. So the sales are always there is always a variations in the sales data as because due to the changes in the market scenarios or the market condition. So it totally depends when there is a changes in the market scenarios, product would always get a hit in one market. To another market, or you can say in the one reason it becomes successful, or the sales will get increased, or the variation could seen from one reason the product would successful, in the second reason product will be successful. So such differences in the consumption pattern is always difficult to understand that how the product life cycle would goes on. So this is also the one of the limitation of the product life cycle. The next one is effect of other elements. There are various other elements where the product life cycle is totally dependent, that is on 4 P's, that is price, place, promotion, or the people or the packaging as well. In fact, they are actually dependent on 4 P's, and of course there are other also 3 elements which also takes place in the product life cycle. And of course, when we talk about the 4 P's are already considering on the product life cycle, so automatically they will also get an influence on the other factors as well of the marketing mix. So that is also the influence factor, you can say, on other elements due to the adopting the product life cycle framework or concept. Next one is not applicable to brands or services. That's very true. The product life cycle is applicable to products only. They are not applicable to any sort of services and brands. So that is also the one of the limitation of the product life cycle. So this is a real example. We can talk about the typewriter and how the typewriter has been phased into a different stages of all those 6 stages of such particular example, that is called the typewriter. If you can look, the typewriter is the first mechanical writing tool, a worthy successor where the pen and paper, you can see, could able to use up, and or to avoid such particular pen and paper concept. So ultimately, there are other technologies now both where the such tool has been replaced and gained a big popularity in all over the world. So these are the 5-6 stages where the typewriter has actually faced. So during the development stage, before launching a typewriter, a huge research and development process goes on, where it was introduced into, before introducing such typewriter into a market, the overall idea has always been developed for the centuries, is beginning from 1575. The next one is introduction. In the late 1800s, the first commercial typewriter has been introduced. So the introduction is take, a new product has been introduced, which is called typewriter. Growth. So typewriter has become an indispensable tool where the particular companies, the traditional companies, has been used for all the forms of writing, and it was widely used for the offices, businesses, and the private homes as well. So the growth is almost being increased, the sales is almost being increased, the profit is almost increased. And the next stage is maturity. There is always a scare part or before it gets where the sales will get declined. Take a precautions before time. So that is called the maturity stage. Typewriters were in the maturity stage were nearly 80 years because this was a preferred product for the typing communication up until 1980s only. So if the company get to know, okay, there is a time where they were the consumers preferred and another product, is better off to take a precaution and launch a differentiated product so that the company, the other companies would say it is something a differentiated a company has made up, and consumers will get off appear, and accordingly the sales of a new differentiated product would get increased. So this is how the maturity stage works. Next one is saturation stage. During such stage, typewriters always begin to face a heavy competition with the computers, where the other computers have also been launched into 1990s as well. And the last one is decline, where the typewriter it's not withstand into a competition as new emerging technologies has been introduced and the customers has almost changed their brand, and ultimately this product has been or was discontinued into a marketplace. Now we come up to the next concept, that is new product development. So new product development is almost a complete process that how a new product is to bring into a market. And this could develop in this particular new product could be developed into a market by adopting an attractive and competitive strategies, and how they will convert a old product into a no product, what strategies to be adopted, and that is all about called a new product development. The emergence, the introduction of this concept is actually its origin or originated with the need of companies that how they maintain the competitive advantage into a market if they introduced a new products or innovate the existing products into a market. So while putting up a pressure on developing a new product, it's almost building up a new products who are by adopting a new concept to make their product differentiate to the other rival products. So automatically the new product development is always focuses on developing the entire something, a new, a unique product, a new with a new and creative idea, so that such idea would get generated and used to develop a particular product or to launch that new product, and that is actually called the main aim of new product development. New product development helps you to stay updated with the new technologies and trends, how to beat up the competition with the creative ideas or the solutions. The next benefit is to it offers a newly products, and you can find a new streamline of the products, and of course a new stream of revenues too. The next benefit is always adapted how they changing the customer needs as well, how they use the resources more efficiently, how they can improve the brand image. It also helps to grow your businesses and ensure the sustainability. And these benefits can always get to the companies or the marketers just because of introducing a concept of new development of a product and how the strategies to be adopted while developing a newly product into a market. These are the 7 stages of the new product development. The first one is idea generation. Second one is idea screening, that you have generated the ideas. Now you need to test your ideas by screening whether the customers would like that idea or not, or the management teams or the management heads would like that idea so that they can be used to develop into a particular new product. Then we come talk about the concept development and testing. Then we come up to the next 4th stage, marketing strategies and the business analysis. Next one is product development, test marketing, and when we do a test marketing of the product and into a market among the customers and or among the customer base, then we can launch a product. So this is how a new product development process, where the 6 stages are actually most important before launching a product into a market. So let's begin to understand one by one a quick review about these stages. Idea generation. Idea generation is just brainstorm your ideas for a new product, for launching a new product. So it's all about the new product ideas, all about the various ways or techniques that how a particular individual or a researcher could improve an existing product. So it's all about the product discovery ideas. It's all about how to improve the existing, how to do a new research on a new product, get into a deeper, think about the user wants and needs before launch to, before use any idea for making up or preparing a new product. Just understand the user wants, needs, their problems, and then formulate an innovative solution. So in order to understand the ideas or apply any idea, just test your ideas. A SWOT analysis, one of the creative tool, is one of the framework to evaluate the other product, your product, new product idea, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So it is a very effective way that how you will identify the what would be the issues and concerns occurred on your product, and how you can understand how it is easy to understand where the greatest opportunities are available in this particular product idea. So this is how the idea generation reveals for. There are 2 primary sources of the product development idea creation: the internal ideas work within the companies like marketing, customer support, sales team, and external idea who are where the ideas that could be earned from your competitors and the feedbacks of your customers. That is called the external. So the various methods could be used, that you can conduct the market surveys or product analysis. You can work with your marketing and sales teams. You can collect the customer feedback. You can easily user test would be done to see that how the people would use your product, whether they would like it or not. If there any gap between it, they can find out a solution for further improvement as well. Next one is idea screening. So once the new product idea has been chosen, so automatically the second idea, just screen your generated ideas, all the generated ideas, 10, 15, and out of the 10, 15 ideas, just screening to be done at which idea is actually best for a new product, and pick up that ones which is the highest chances of success. So deciding which ideas to pursue and remove the you can say the all other ideas totally depends on the many factors. It could be the expected benefits the customers. It relate to the product improvements, technical feasibility, and the market potential as well. This stage is always being carried out by most of the companies in India, and there is always a panel of expert team where all those suggestions to be given for the idea, for all those pick up idea, the best one ideas which would be used for making up the you can say product. So it could be related to the technical requirements, resources needed, marketability of your idea, that how much your ideas actually consist of a large consumer base or customer base or not. So that is called the idea screening. Next one is when the idea is clean, you get to know the concept. So now there is the concept development and testing. So product concept is actually a detailed description of your or blueprint of your idea. So what target market, what potential or target customer base you will be selected, and accordingly this product concept will give you a solution about all those problems of that you might face, and how it give also a solution and how it appeals to your customers, what would be the prices of your product. So concept a product concept is actually consists about the what would be the estimated cost of designing a product, how would you develop that product, how would you launch that product, that ultimately called budget. So different alternatives need to be developed, and accordingly, the concept could a product concept could be very useful to the customers, and it always select the one concept with the highest values or statistical values where the particular result is to be more positive. So once the concept has been developed, that you have given a brief description of your idea, now the concept testing is to be done, and it could be testing with the user's feedback, taking up a feedback about your product ideas, and before you invest more time and resources into building up that particular product idea, or use that idea in preparing a new product. So it is very important a concept testing is to be done to validate your product ideas with the users before you invest any more time and resources in it. Next one is marketing strategy and business analysis. So there are two main strategies to be adopted for analysis. The first one is marketing strategy, where the all 5 P's or 6 P's is to be adopted for launching up a new product, or for applying preparing a new product. So once the marketing strategy is being planned, a product management would evaluate the business attractiveness of your product idea. So once the marketing strategy part is being done, the next analysis is the business analysis. It is all about the sales to analysis of the sales forecasting, the sales prediction of your product idea. What would be the expected cost of your product idea? What would be the profit estimations? And once the product idea would satisfy the company objectives, the product can move into a product development state. That means a research is to be done to preparing a particular product. Next one is product development. So once the market business analysis to be done, the product development stage would comes, and it consists of developing a product concept into a finished and marketable product. So you used your product idea, and that is called the product concept, and how convert into the finished and marketable product. So product development depends upon the various factors. It depends upon the customer preferences for the development, whether it would be an agile product development, it would use a waterfall or any other alternative before you can say developing a particular product or launching a product. So this stage is actually creating a prototype, how they test with the user, whether they would interact with the users, and they collect the feedback. And prototype testing is always allow in under this concept is a prototype testing is to be done, and it always allow the product team to validate their designs, their screening part, their any flaws to be occurred. They will get the feedback with the users, with their teams before they handle or prepare any designs of their finished product, and ultimately will go to the development team. Then we talk about last one is test marketing. There are two type of testing: alpha testing and beta testing. Alpha testing is to be done through the software testing, which is used to identify any gaps, any flaws before releasing the product to the public. Beta testing is an opportunity of estimating or asking about the actual users towards their product who are used it or give their feedback about it. So these two types of testings to be done, and that is actually called the test marketing. So it's all about the samples. If you look that if there is any new juices would launched into a market, so before launch into a wider scale, you can see a smaller stalls of the new launch juices, where the particular you can say tester you can say an individual would give particular juices for the test to the users or the customers, and get their feedback with what would be the flows, or you can say the qualities or the taste of the particular juice. So this is actually called test marketing. And the next one, the test marketing is to be done now. Is the time to launch a product. That your product is ready to launch, you can ensure your product marketing team, sales team, customer support team just fit into their place and guarantee to a successful launch and monitoring performance into a market. So product launch is actually a very critical part of the broader commercialization stage, because when it entered into commercial market, so of course it would be a very challenging task when you talk about or launching about the broader scale. So product launch is always focused or on the initial stages of the product to the market, and commercialization it always includes a timeline about from product development stage to the market situation stage, that is the ending stage. So that is called the product launch. So to understand, automatically there's essential elements of this product launch, that is the customers, the value proposition, messaging in channel. These are the parameters that the product launch. Before you launch, it is very important to focus on these parameters, that what type of customer base you are doing, you need to identify their roles, objectives, and pain points. What would be the gaps involved in it, value proposition, what would be the messages involved to communicate your product value to the potential customer, and the channels. It would be the social media, it would be the online marketing, it would be the search engine optimization, and many more platforms through the ads, advertisement as well. So this is an example of a new product development, and one of the very good example Very good example you can use is Netflix. So Netflix is a one of the new product. Before launching that product, each and every step, stage of such concept has been done before launching the Netflix. So Netflix, so after gone through a huge research, ideas which has been generated, then once they generated, then the testing, then we development, then market testing, business analysis, the marketing strategies to be done. Once every stage has been done, this product has been launched, which is called Netflix. It is a world leading streaming services with over 209 million subscribers in 190 plus countries. It could be before it launched on a very broader scale. It began as a DVD rental business in 1997, and it transcend into a streaming platform in 2007. And of course, it also exists in a video rental space as well. So, in order to develop this new product, it is expanded into a new market, the video streaming services industries that is called for. So after immense success, these are the various aspect has been uh, seeks for customer consumer science, all about experimenting, testing, learning from the user behavior, engagement, retention, product success. That is all about consumer science. Rapid prototyping is all about test your products prototypes with the real users, the users who are watching the Netflix, who are using this streaming services. That is a better platform of the a better platform the real users, and just test your new products as well using under the Netflix. Personalization, of course, this platform uses artificial intelligence, machine learnings tools so that the personalized content recommendation, improving user experience to be could be observed. If you watch any movie, there is at the end of the movie, you always ask for an option whether you liked or disliked or just avoid or ignore or dismiss. So this is called personalization, that where the feedback of the user is to be taken. And of course, Netflix is always used for the original content, like original series you can see on the Netflix. This is one of the few examples. Stranger Things, Bridgerton, and the Squid Games, which always attract and retain subscribers on the Netflix. And the Netflix will always believe in the continuous innovations of their services, and of course the original content, so automatically that's called refers to a new product development where the or more and more developments, innovation is always being took place on the Netflix. These are the advantages of a new product development. It always gives an opportunity to create an innovative product and have a potential to have a strong market base and increased revenues. It always it does this concept is always ability to meet various or different customer to meet up or get the various customers feedbacks or the users feedbacks, and to meet up the customer needs as well. It always believe to remain into a sustained competitive environment, and it always maintain that competitive advantage in the market. It always gives an opportunity for brand expansion and growth as well. And the last topic of this session is disadvantage of new product development. It's a huge investment, it's a high development and launch cost as well. It might be a chances of failure and market rejections as well. It is a very time consuming and complex development process as well. And of course, the risk of intellectual property rights or trademarks is always involved in that. So sometimes whatever the name is to be decided for a product, you need to check, you have to take up an intellectual property rights. And sometimes it is very difficult to get due to the rules and regulations of the different companies, and a huge investment is to be done to get a trademark and the intellectual property right of your particular asset, that is called product, new product. The next one is challenges in coordinating the cross-functional team. So sometimes the challenges to be made while coordinating the cross-border teams, it's very difficult to fix up where the language barriers, the culture barriers always exist, and it will not be possible to a communication gap due to the networks issues and concern is always involved, and that is called the challenges faced among the coordinating the cross-border teams, functional teams who are working on a new product development. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening this lecture. I will come up to a more important and relevant topics in the upcoming blogs. So till time, thanks for listening and namaste to all.